Knowing your potential customers and your competition is key to any business plan. But this becomes even more important when you produce a specific product to a niche market.
Not many people have heard of jig grinding, and even less would ever need this service. Still, the Canadian Jig Grinding Company has managed to carve out a successful business in this industry.
Jig grinding's been around for, it's been around for at least 40 years, 50 years. But a lot of people don't know what it is because to them it's still relatively new, and it's something that people haven't gone out and actually marketed before. It positions contour shapes and holes into very precise geometry, and using very sophisticated machines and highly skilled people.
If you're unfamiliar with the term jig grinding, it's a specialized version of tool and die making. There are very few companies who can perform this work, but there's a wide range of customers who need this service.
The companies that use us is wide range. They manufacture anything from tool and die to gauges, to molds, and again, aerospace components, parts for the space shuttle, parts for the Hubble telescope. And so the customer base, what they do for a living is diverse. But for us, it's all the same, right? Whether it be a dissection or a part for the space station, the part to us is the same.
Jig grinding takes highly technical skills and very expensive machinery. The end products can be measured within a millionth of an inch. It's hard to imagine how precise these measurements must be.
For a layman to actually relate to, as far as the tolerances that we hold, I always describe it as a hair out of your head. So you pull a hair out of your head and peel it 5 times like a banana. What's left over is the tolerances that we work to.
There are only so many companies that are willing to pay for such exact standards. The aerospace industry is one of those markets.
These companies, for an example, let's take a part for the space station. They have it engineered and designed that parts have to fit together in a very close tolerance, and they calculate these dimensions. So the only way for these parts to actually work is to make it to what the engineer says, because they've done all the structural, they've done you know, in outer space, it's cold, it's hot, there's expansion, so that type of tolerance has to be held because they've modeled it through computers and things like that. So when they give us the drawing, they say it has to be made to this because we've tested it on the computer and it's going to work.
Tony McCloskey has been working in this industry long before he started Canadian Jig Grinding. After leaving his last job, he chose to find a whole new client base instead of taking from his former employer's customer base. It was from networking that he quickly created new clientele.
So again, it's networking with people that I know through engineers, through designers, and they would know somebody, put me in contact with them, and then they would start sending me work to do. And the next thing, it just snowballs from there. The word gets out, and before going overseas, our customer base used to be probably within a 300-mile radius of our company. And but because, again, it's so small, we've had to actually go out and, again, networking with people saying, you know, there's a company looking for your services, maybe you should call them, and that's what we do, or that's what I do.
McCloskey had borrowed money from friends for this startup. Jig grinding machines start in the hundreds of thousands. But quick success allowed him to pay off his debts and reinvest in his company. Today he has a stern view about managing debt.
One thing to make a company successful, you shouldn't have a bank loan, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of companies that do, and a lot of, even my own bank is willing to lend me money now to grow. But I have this thing, especially at my age, right, where I don't want any more loans. So what I've done with the company, everything I've bought, I've paid for through the profits of the company. And again, the key to success is to pay off all your debts as quickly as you can. Even this building I purchased, because I was leasing and I ended up buying it. All the growth that we had is all done within, and all the money is reinvested in the company.
Jig grinding is a specialized service with a small customer base. It's a market where customers and competitors know each other. But McCloskey has proven you can build a successful company working within this business model. He explains how Canadian Jig Grinding set itself apart from its competitors.
Well, one thing with our business in Canadian Jig Grinding, when people bring things here, there's an old story, they're usually 6 to 8 weeks late on their jobs. So we have to react very, very quickly. That's what brings us above our competition, and I know that for a fact. We will do anything that's humanly possible to get that job when they need it. We have worked Saturdays, we have worked Sundays, we've worked Christmas Day, but that's what we do, and that's where you have to react very, very quickly.
Big Fish Video Productions.